See this little corner right here?
Yep.
See that?
Okay.
So these two are the ones that pop out. This one slides in. Okay, and that exposes that one screw there.
Okay.
Remember, you're going to pull from this end,
Okay.
and that end stays in. So this just pulls up.
With brute force.
Okay. And you take.
Pull that out.
There's a little latch here. You got to push the little plastic latch. It's all done. It's that one.
Okay. So this is it's actually a nut driver, right? 7mm. Turning, yeah. You gotta really press on it or it slips. Okay, one. And then there's another one over here somewhere. Right there. Oh, there it is.
It's from, wait.
Like that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was easy. That was easy.
Okay. And that exposes the screw way down inside there.
It's actually easier to get to than the others. Okay, now I don't want to drop it. Okay, so it's an 8mm for this one.
So we're all done with all the screws. Now we just have to pop the panel off, which is the most nerve-wracking thing. So there's these pins, but since we have all the bolts off, this whole panel will pop right off.
Ouch. Okay, and we have to unhook that thing.
You see this little latch right here?
Yeah.
See how that comes off? See how that's underneath there? And that's it.
Okay.
So this is one whole assembly. All right, so
I've got to take out all of these screws, and there's a lot of them. What size is it?
a 20.
A 20.
One more.
Okay, if there's any resistance, look for more screws.
Yeah, it should fall right out. That's holding it up.
Okay, there we go.
That's what you're going to paint.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we're ready to paint, and I'm going to show you the products you're going to need to paint plastic. You can paint any kind of plastic inside your car, well, any kind of plastic anywhere with these products, and I've already done 2 doors, so I know that these work. So the product you need to do step 1, which is the scuffing and cleaning and degreasing, is this stuff, and I'm going to put a link to all of these below. So if you want to buy them off Amazon, you can. I got these from a local automotive paint store. That's the first one. Then your primer, which is in this case an adhesion promoter, is called Bulldog. And I use 2 coats of this. Now you'll need matching paint of your choice. I got this from the automotive paint supply store. They mixed it up. That matches my car, which is Ford's Area 51 color. Some other things you'll need are some 600 grit sandpaper and the gray or the white Scotch-Brite pads. Do not use the green ones. I did that. They're just a little too coarse. But some alcohol, and I highly recommend a respirator because this stuff, it just stinks. And the day that I sprayed this without a respirator, because I thought, well, I'm outside, you know, there's plenty of ventilation, blah, blah, blah. That night I was coughing, and I really think it was this stuff that made me, like, had the tickle and all that in the back of the throat. So since then, I've been wearing this beautiful, wonderful respirator. Works great. All right, so here's the tutorial on how to paint the plastic inside your car. So I'm using this right here as a scuff and clean. So this is the only part that shows, so I'm going to focus on that. This is a Scotch-Brite pad. Get wet. So.
And he said use the Scotch-Brite with that?
Yeah, and a little bit wet. So I just like toothpaste. I'm careful not to touch with my oily hands the prepped area. You think I need to let it air dry a little more?
Before you start painting it?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I've lifted it up on a couple of blocks. We have a turntable. I don't know that that's absolutely necessary, but we have it, so I'm using it. Bulldog Adhesion Promoter. And I just need to make sure it's completely dry, and then I'll spray it. Whew, stinky. Okay. Looks like I have a problem. I've put 2 coats of my adhesion promoter, and I've got crackling. So before I sand this down, I'm going to call the paint supply store and see what he thinks the problem is. So after talking to the paint shop, they suggested I let it dry overnight and then come in and sand it with 400 or 500 grit sandpaper down to, you know, past the crackling, and then put color on it. If that doesn't work, we're going to have to sand the whole thing down, probably with some sort of power sander, to get it back down to the raw plastic and start over. So I'm hoping that the color coat goes on without any problems. I've sanded it and cleaned it again, and I'm ready to apply the first coat of color. Now let it dry.
Like this one, can you see how that is different than that? That one has to go through this part.
Okay.
So this becomes an assembly, and then that all goes in there.
Okay.
So like this one. So I guess there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
And show what kind of screwdriver you're using.
T20 Torx. And now that little pin comes through. There's really only one way it will go in.
Okay, so every place there was a hole, you put the screws, and we did have enough screws when we were done, so that's nice. There's a lot of screws in here. I'm not probably...
And here.
And here.
Just, they're everywhere.
We have... That's nice. That looks nice. get it in the door and do the rest.
So the top part goes in first. This part hangs in this groove right here.
Okay.
And we have to get, this is the lock, and this is for the window. And that has to go through the hole here. Right up through here.
Okay.
Might be it. Through here.
I dropped it, didn't I?
There we go. And we got to put those screws in. We're going to put this machine screw. It goes up in here. You can see the hole.
Okay, so it's the screw that doesn't have a pointy tip. It's the blunt tip screw.
And it goes behind that hidden panel there.
And this was the one that gave us, we were like, what's holding this panel on? And
It was hidden behind that panel there.
this
that pops
screw.
up.
So was the last off, first back on.
You can go ahead and pop this in. And if you'll see right through here, can you see the pin?
Yeah.
It goes in the hole there, and they're all around. There's another one down there.
Okay.
And pop, they're in. The next one we're going to do are the big ones.
Show them. Okay.
And there's two for the door. This is where all the strength comes from. So that's for a window. If you put it all together and this isn't hanging out, you have to go back and get it, but you might can reach down there and get it.
Okay. And so now we have the 3 little screws.
3 little ones, and they go in here, and then there's 2 down here. Okay, we need to do this one first. I can't see in there. And here's this bezel. A lot of plastic things, they go in one side first and the other side unclips. So if you try to pull it out from this side, you'll break it.
Okay.
So you got to know which side to pull it out from. And that's true up here too. The back part pulls up and then the whole thing slides out.
Okay.
If you try to pull up from over here, you'll break something. So when you do the reverse to reinstall it. So see that little clip right there come from this angle? See how that just goes right in there? That's it.
Okay.
Now down here we have 2 screws. Okay, so this part goes in first, like this, and then it's going to snap down,
Okay.
not the other way. But of course, you first have to put the cable in, and there's only one way the cable will go in. So if it goes in, then you're good. This is going to go in first, and then if you see right here, this white thing will just pop in that hole.
Okay.
So it's made for fast manufacturing. That's it.
Okay.
Now one more thing, this hidden panel, if you'll notice it's the same thing. It's got these little barbs on one end that go in, and then these 2 just push in.
Okay.
So you got to do it right.